Welcome back to Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast. What's going on, Travis?
Nothing much, Bill. How are you, bud?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm enjoying spring.
Well, it's coming and going, right?
Well, it's better than winter to me, though, I guess. I mean, you get those snaps of all this snow and everything this winter. You're like, man, I'm ready for this warmer climate.
I'm a big fan of warm weather in general, so let's hurry up and get here to summertime. Not a big, cold weather guy. Give me 95 with 110% humidity any day over 36 and windy.
Me too. So I'm like, yeah, people hate, the summertime a lot of times because the humidity and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, would I pick it? Everybody wants it to be 80 degrees and no humidity, but I mean,
lesser of two evils.
That's right.
Right.
You don't get to pick that perfect weather day.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question before we get started.
All
today.
right.
How'd your bracket end up, man?
Well, not as well. I think we talked about this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We do a group bracket here at the office, and I feel like you have to choose somebody that nobody else would choose.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I chose Florida. So,
but that was, in my opinion, that was a good choice.
Yeah. But
right. But
so there it goes. It blows up pretty quickly.
The second round exit kind of hurts.
Yeah,
right?
it does. It does.
My bracket was okay. Now my son, on the other hand, I God love him. I don't know if I'm raising him right or not, but he had NC State going all the way and beating Duke 81-40 in the national championship. So I had some pride in that, right? That he would believe that much.
There you go.
But the other side is, at some point that disappointment is going to set in for him.
Yeah, the North Carolina schools did not fare as well as they would have wished in the tournament.
So, no, they did not. I actually put a LinkedIn post out during all this, and in North Carolina, the madness has been hot and heavy, but unfortunately, most of it's been off the court than on the court.
All about coaching.
I tell you, this is the world we live in, right?
That's right. That's right. We'll talk about coaching and careers. I know you wanted to talk about insurance careers.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit, and I figured we'd do something a little different than what I'd say our normal style is. It's that time of year. You're going to all these different meetings, right? You're hearing from people about just like, I'd say the industry health. And one of the things, of course, is the market. But the other side is, I'd say talent, and maybe even some of the, I don't want to say lack of talent, right? But it's an industry that, in my opinion, brings a lot of great opportunities for people. But we're in need of an injection of youth, I guess is the best way to put it.
We see that. We're in the business.
Yep.
I'd be curious if other industries are seeing the same thing, right?
Yep.
If you're talking about the financial world and the banking and investment side.
We're very siloed in our view.
We are. But I mean, the baby boomers are
aging out.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk about was, one, I wanted to pick your brain, right? Like, hey, if you're a young, upstart individual, looking at the insurance industry, one, what would attract you to the industry? But the other side is like what type of role you would like, and maybe unpack that role a little bit of what it looks like and why we think it's good.
Oh man. So I'll answer. But it may be a better question for you, but maybe not. Maybe better for people to chime in here and hit us up. We were born in the insurance industry. Now, I will say that had its pluses and minuses to things, right?
Yeah.
It was one of those that I didn't want to be in the insurance business until I got to college and was like, it doesn't look so bad.
Right.
Now, so maybe to answer your question, I had the inside look at it, and I'm like, okay, we certainly live well. We know what to do. My dad worked extremely hard, but he was at all my sporting events.
Right.
So there was that flexibility option that was great. There was, everybody needed it. So you start understanding it through college, maybe. Should have understood it before then. But, that people have to buy insurance.
Yep.
And so you look at it going, it's a great business to be in just for a couple simple things, not diving too deep in it. But, people have to buy it. And, it does give you that flexibility if you work hard when you're supposed to.
Yeah.
To go do some of the other things that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
i.e. be with family.
It's funny you say the have to buy it aspect, because I remember, kind of like you, I grew up in it, and, truthfully, I swore I was never going to do it because my exposure was the file room and stuff in homeowners packets, things like that. Right. But once I learned about it, I was like, okay, hey, this looks like a pathway to a career, not just a job.
Yeah.
Right. But I sat down with my grandfather, who really started our agency. And I was like, well, why'd you do it? And that was his exact comment. He's like, everybody's got to buy it. Why not buy it from me? Right.
That's right.
And so that was, kind of the light bulb moment. I thought I was going to get some really great words of wisdom. Right. And it was
We're just keeping it simple here in the insurance business for people.
I love it. It's kind of what attracted me to it as well. And, I like people.
Right.
And I love talking and meeting and helping people. And that was what attracted me to it, along with, like you said, the flexibility, right? If you do what you're supposed to do and you're good at what you do, it does create a lot of flexibility. But the other side for me was the upward mobility that it would create for you, because you kind of control your own destiny. Whereas when I personally looked at other careers, I felt like you really didn't have as much control over your own success.
Yeah.
And now I look at the industry from a production lens, which that's what attracted me to the industry. And if I was, I'd say 22 years old again, it would attract me as going, hey, I can come in here and, I like people. I can create flexibility for myself and my own success, my ability to sell and do my job controls where I can go in my career.
Yeah.
Which I like that, right? I like the control it gives me.
Yeah. And I think, certainly we have a regulatory body, with DOIs everywhere, and everybody's got to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And let's just say, let's keep it at that. Everybody's got to do the right thing. But we don't have the strict structure like a banking world or an investment world has, which... And I say that to go, okay, so that gives you a lot of private businesses, such as ourselves, to be able to operate and do things, whereas maybe in some of the other worlds, it's a little more corporate.
Right. A little more regimented.
That's right. It has to be.
Yeah.
Because of the way that they're set up and all the different things they have to do for that industry. So, I think that's a perk, too, is you really can work for a hometown agency in your old hometown, the hometown you've always grown up in, or
a new hometown,
the new hometown that you want to be in, and go, you know what, I want to be part of the community.
Yeah.
So let me do this, and this is a great way. And we see that over and over with insurance agents, specifically producers. To your point, the production role is going, how do I just get more involved in the community?
Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect industry to allow that.
I know one of the things that we do within our organization is we make it a point to give back to the community. We're in all of our close locations, not just Jacksonville, right? Through volunteering, things like that. And I think that's one of the great things about this industry is, one, you're helping people on a daily basis writing insurance policies. But again, like you said, you're investing back into the community through the flexibility that your time gives you, right? How many times do you go to a local baseball field or, basketball complex and you see an insurance agency name on the back of a jersey, right? And those are...
Or on the scoreboard or,
Right, or, on the sign
table,
on the high school football field, right? Yep. Yeah. And those are ways that you can give back to the community and help others outside of just writing an insurance policy for someone, right? And I personally like that. I'm proud of what I do, and this is a job that I think allows me to continue doing that. But also, I'd say people understand it too, right?
Yeah.
They understand what you do, which I think does help, with the community aspect as well.
Yeah. So if I'm looking back, obviously didn't pay attention to the age of the workforce,
right?
Back when I made the decision,
right?
Whether we came at the right time or not, to be determined, right?
We're still running our race,
right? But we certainly came in when there were a lot of baby boomer workers, and as you said, every day, every month, every year, that number is shrinking.
It is,
and that was a huge segment of the workforce.
Yeah.
And so today, looking at it for somebody that's in college, just coming out of college, trying to figure out, hey, what's my career, not job, right? Because that would be one thing too. They should probably go, is this a job or a career? Well, what you wanted to say here is a career.
Yes.
So go have a job if you want to, and if you want this to be a job, do it. But for a career, this is a great time because there are so many people that are aging out every single month in this business.
I agree. And, I look at it just like you do, right? Hey, from a career perspective. But the other side of it is as these people age out, people are losing their insurance agent.
Well, that's exactly right.
And I don't want
They have to build a new relationship with somebody.
They have to build a new relationship with somebody. And for a production-oriented business, right? Hey, first and foremost, we've talked about on other podcasts, agencies are sales organizations. And your control, your flexibility of your career will come from selling insurance. And so why not enter at a time where there's more and more people losing their agent, where they have to go build a new relationship, which ultimately creates more opportunity for you to have success and, we're for profit, right? Make more money.
You're going to get in the door quicker right now.
Agree.
Maybe. I mean, I think you will because there's a good chance they're losing their top point of contact.
Agree.
And so they're going to be given a new point of contact probably by that agency that they're working with. But it's also one of those going, but they may not like that person. And so it's like, well, if I got to switch people,
I might as well see if there's somebody else out there I like better.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think the same can be said with other organizations. I'd say, especially in the commercial lines space, right? With the M&A activity in general across all industries, with an aging workforce in general across the country, you're getting new points of contacts at these businesses as well that, hey, they're probably going to trend younger and, they might not want to work with that baby boomer because they might expect them to retire soon. They might not be using the systems, might not communicate the way they like to communicate, which again, I go, if you're a younger insurance producer, you have the skill set and the tools to be able to create that buying experience for them a little more swiftly.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it creates a lot of opportunity for success moving forward to be the solution.
Absolutely. Right? So let's talk about the people that have success, right? Who thrives in this side of thing, and give me a couple points that you feel like these are the characteristics or these are the past jobs or something of that nature that who thrives in our business.
So I might throw you a curveball here because we talked about this earlier when I got into town. You were sharing a book with me that you're reading that I believe you saw a speaker at the Travelers event.
Yeah, that's right.
Here recently, and I believe the title of the book was Grit.
Yeah, you got it up there, right?
Yeah, it's up there.
Finished it,
right? So. And I think when we were talking about it, I think the people that are really good in the insurance industry, it's not that they are like ultra talented. It's persistency, it's work ethic, it's consistency, right? It's the person that shows up every day that says they're going to do something and then they do it, right? And now you've got to be, I'd say, personable, right? You've got to have what I call a feel for the game. To be able to have conversations that are fluid and listen and be able to pick points out of things that people are saying. And those are all things that you can work and improve upon, in my opinion, on a daily basis. So, I think the people that are good at it they're hard workers.
Yeah.
They've got good work ethic.
I think this when I talk to people. If they're starting, they said, I don't want to scare people off, but I also want to lay down some expectations with them is if they're not willing to work 60 hours at the get-go,
you're probably not going to have success.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Could they? Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not saying anything's impossible, but if they're not willing to put in 60 hours, I don't see that success, especially for the first, let's call it 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Now, after that, you're going to get more flexibility because your knowledge is going to be there. Your cadence is going to be there. You're going to understand how to do things. But at the beginning, you're going to have to grind it out. Yeah. To your point, you got to have a little bit of grit to get it done. And it's going to take you more time to get it done. Now, after that period of time, you can work just as hard and just start escalating your income and your abilities and everything like that. Or you could try to figure out, hey, I want to dial it back down.
Right.
Maybe at that point you got a family, so you have to dial it down or things of that nature. But I agree 100%. If they're not putting in the work, I don't believe it works. I don't think it works for them very well.
I think everybody looks at it and goes, "Oh, you've got to be this ultra salesperson," and that
helps.
That helps For sure. But the people that, in my opinion, are most successful, and I mean, I look at others within our organization that are successful, and it's not necessarily that they are this smooth sales guy. It's that they're consistent. It's that they've got good work ethic. They put the time in. But I think the biggest thing is they say they're going to do something, and then they do it.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I certainly would say we could start naming off where we see success come from. But I do believe it boils back to the same thing that you brought up, is that work ethic. Because if you're a great smooth talker, salesperson, you've got plenty of experience coming from a different industry.
Yep.
Yeah, it helps you.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's just a matter of, okay, you're going to put the time in to do it. I've seen people that aren't as salesy, I guess, so to speak. They're not as fluid, things like that, but maybe they're ultra intelligence. They use that intelligence to drive behind them the consultative approach, on things. So it can go a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a matter of what works for that individual, as long as they work.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people think of salespeople as extroverted.
Right.
Doesn't hurt. But I know people who are very successful in our industry that are introverted. Yeah. And to your point, it's intelligence, but it really boils down to they work, they put the time in, they put the effort in, and they're not afraid of no. Yeah. Right. They have confidence in what they're doing. All things that we've talked about in our growth series. Right. But those are things that I see. If you've got good work ethic, if you're willing to put the time in, if you've got good morals, those types of things, we can teach you the insurance stuff.
Yeah, we can.
Right. But it's the work ethic, it's the consistency, it's the persistency.
It's the drive.
Those are the things that can't be taught, in my opinion.
That's exactly right.
So
you hit it. I mean, you went different than I would have thought you went, like you said, but that's okay, because I do agree with you there.
Right. What would you say?
I mean, I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I think we see success because we've got a lot of athletes that I see success from. So collegiate athletes or just athletes that
competitive.
Yeah, they're more competitive. So you see that drive to want to do things. So that would be a trait that I see who thrives.
Right.
I'm like you, as I've seen people that have been introverts and extroverts. We certainly do personality profiles here, and you go, okay, well, they tell you like this is what it's supposed to look like,
right?
But they also tell you it's a tool. Don't take this thing as the end all be all,
right?
And to your point is, you got to get to know the person, understand their drive and their abilities. So yeah, I mean, if they've got previous sales experience, that helps them thrive quicker.
It does.
If they're a smart human being, that helps them thrive quicker,
right?
But nothing really replaces the work ethic part. I don't see people thriving unless, and they could have been married into it or born into it, where they have some massive accounts that they're related to. Mm-hmm. They can thrive because they were born to the right family.
Right. Yeah.
Or married. But other than that, now those are slimmer than the normal.
Kind of circling back, to the flexibility, the control of your career. One of the things that I personally believe in this industry is it's an industry that you can't fake it, if that's fair, right? It's going to weed those people out. So to your point, when it comes to the hours, eventually over time, that person that isn't willing to put the time in isn't, I'd say, persistent, consistent, doesn't have the right work ethic. The industry is going to weed them out. And so that's from my piece, right? I wasn't a collegiate athlete, but I was an athlete, and I still like to think I am, right?
And now you're a coach?
I'm a coach now, right? We transitioned to the sideline. I got bad knees. But no, I like the competitive nature of it myself. I think that's a great point. As someone who I don't know if thrive's the right word, but feels like I thrive in that type of environment. I like the fact that, hey, I'm working when no one else is, right? I'm putting that time and that effort in, which I feel like gives me the leg up. It's going to come to fruition at some point, maybe not today. And that's where I like the upward mobility and the control of my own destiny.
Yeah, I agree. I do a lot of coaching and different things with youth sports as well. And there's two sides. There's a huge part of development that you don't want to sacrifice development just for winning.
Right.
But at some point, there's winners and there's losers.
Yeah.
And so you've got to build that foundation to help develop these kids and these people. And in this podcast, insurance producers, so to speak, But then there's winners, losers, right? Somebody's got to win.
Yeah.
And so you want that competitive edge going, I need to develop them and we need to develop them and they need to develop themselves.
Correct.
And then they need to win.
But it's easier to win if you've done the right things up front.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And that's I think this industry rewards people that do it that way. And so if I was 22 fresh out of college, or if I was someone who was looking for a career change, that along with the earning potential in our industry would attract me. It did attract me.
Yeah. And I think it's probably a better time now than it was when we were coming through.
I agree.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see in the future if that's the case. But I do think, with everybody retiring right now, this is a perfect time for somebody to go, I'm in a job.
Yeah.
Don't love it, but I'm getting good at it. Like I said, my work ethic's good. I'm smart. I like sales, or whatever their attributes are. Talk to somebody in the insurance business, see if it makes sense.
See if it makes sense for you. Well, I think we covered that one pretty good.
Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, we'll wrap this one up. Maybe we'll come back and do another one. This one was sales oriented, right? Maybe we'll come back and do another one, because I'd say kind of the last point I would make is, we're first and foremost a sales organization, but to be a good sales organization, you also have to have great people behind you. And so there's other opportunities in the industry. Maybe we'll come back and touch on some of that stuff at a later date.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
All right.
Great seeing you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.